Hello, and welcome to the first ever video cast from me, Rightbankwarsaw, my Twitter handle at Rightbankwarsaw, and I'm an academic who lives in Warsaw, an English academic who writes about Polish football, and basically, the idea behind this podcast or video cast is to basically give you guys a regular insight into the weird and wacky world of Polish football. Not just what happens on the pitch, but also off the pitch. Something that you might not have as great a chance to understand without a bit of knowledge of Poland and the Polish language. So initially today I'm just going to I'm going to be talking mostly about the Romania versus Poland World Cup qualifier that happened last night and give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to be talking about the build-up to the game itself, and some of the other incidents surrounding the game, including the firecracker that was thrown. We're not sure if it was thrown actually at Robert Lewandowski, but exploded around him last night. So lots of stuff was going on. I'm going to give you some insight into all of that. Now, in terms of, without further ado, let's focus on what happened last night. So in terms of what happened before the game, it's important to understand that in terms of how Poland have played since Euro 2016, where they did so brilliantly getting to the quarterfinals, they've not played particularly well in their opening three group games so far. In the first game, they played really brilliantly in the first half to away at Kazakhstan to go into a 2-0 lead. But in the second half, Kazakhstan came back to draw. Poland were really threatened by Kazakhstan's aggressive tactics, and it was a really nervy performance from Poland in the end. The next game, they played at home to Denmark. They won 3-2, but they also had problems in the second half, and it was also rather nervy. The final game in the build-up to, the third game that they played was against Armenia. Again, some of you might have seen this. Well, if you follow Polish football, you will have seen this. Poland, against a really small country, which they were expected to beat very easily, only won in the last minute of the game. Also, Armenia only had 10 men, so Poland really were only just squeaking through in those games, and against Kazakhstan they didn't get a win either. And basically soon after that win against Armenia, information came out in the press that some of the players had apparently been drinking too much, or basically having a good time, especially after the Denmark game. And so there was a big scandal that emerged in the papers, which really didn't amount to anything in the end. Some players were named, other players who probably were involved, who were more important to the squad, weren't named, and in the end it ended up in just fines. So there was a kind of, it's been a sort of a weird atmosphere in general around their national team, which again in general over the last couple of years has had a really brilliant atmosphere around it. So that was important in the build-up to the match last night. And also important has been the discussion, also the lack of basically Arkadiusz Milik, the Napoli striker, who had a really bad injury during the basically when he was playing for Poland. So there was a lot of discussion about what team Adam Nawalka would put out. The Polish coach Adam Nawalka would put out against Romania. Would he play with two strikers, or would he not? Another striker at the moment, Polish striker, who's doing very well, is Łukasz Teodorczyk, who plays for Anderlecht in Belgium, who's been scoring freely for Anderlecht. Actually, in the end, we saw that Nawalka decided not to play Teodorczyk. So Nawalka decided to play a 4-2-3-1 formation with Linetti just behind Lewandowski, and Błaszczykowski and Grosicki on the wings, Linetti and Krychowiak in the middle, and a straight up back four. So it was he basically decided that playing two strikers wasn't going to work, and in the end they came away with a 3-0 win, so we have to say that that was definitely a good decision by Nawalka. So in terms of the game itself, Poland scored a fantastic goal via Grosicki in the 10th minute, which put them in a fantastic position. And even though they didn't have that many chances in the first half, they controlled the game and basically went into half-time a goal to the good, so they were 1-0 up. In the second half, Poland sort of weren't playing as well as they had done in the first, and Romania started to come into the game more. And then this is where we come to one of the biggest incidents of the match, where basically a firecracker landed very close to Robert Lewandowski from the crowd, thrown into the crowd. Obviously, after that, there was a break in play. Okay, a lot of discussions on Twitter and social media that the match should have been awarded to Poland as a walkover, even though for me, I don't think it should have been awarded to Poland, even though I really think that it's terrible that the firecracker was thrown onto the pitch. For me, I think it's better to win the match on the pitch, and obviously that's what Poland went ahead and did. And obviously, interestingly enough, even though Lewandowski went down and seemed to be to lose his hearing for a while, he was the one who went on to score the 2 goals to allow Poland to come away with a 3-0 win. Obviously, Lewandowski is a superb striker. You don't need me to tell you that. He scores goals not just for Poland, and obviously his goal scoring is incredible for Poland at the moment. He's now up to 42 goals for the national team, which is just 6 behind the all-time top scorer, Włodzimierz Lubanski, who was part of the great Polish team in the 1970s. He's really been on fire for the national team in the last couple of years under Nawalka's managerial, when he's been a manager of Poland or a coach of Poland. And he scored 20 goals in 19 games for club and country this season. So the headlines will go to Lewandowski, but it was a great performance all around the Polish team yesterday. Michał Pazdan, Legia Warsaw's Michał Pazdan has had his injury problems this year, but he seems to be really playing well again now, and he was very important at the centre of Poland's defence. Łukasz Piszczek also had a great game at right back, and he's continuing to put on a very good performance, even though he's starting to get a bit older. And in general, Poland just looked really strong, and even though Romania did have some chances, it was a really impressive away performance. And Poland now is in a really good position, partly due to Armenia's sort of shock victory against Montenegro yesterday, but Poland are now top of the group. They've won 3 out of 4 games, and they look like they're in a really good chance of getting to the World Cup in Russia, the famous rivals or historical rivals, Russia. So it really does look good for Poland, and it's relatively exciting to think of what they could get done in Russia, in the near neighbours, Russia. So whatever happened regarding the scandal around the national team, it seems to have worked. Okay, Nawalka's or the PZP and the Polish FA have punished the players, some of the players, and this was definitely the best performance from Poland in the group so far, and it really does look like Poland have a really good team, and can, as I said, achieve some really great things if they make Russia, which I'm pretty sure they will do. So that's fantastic news on the pitch. Off the pitch, if we return to the issue of the firecracker and also what happened around the game, some less positive things were happening. There have been a lot of warnings of potential crowd violence in the run-up to the game. Paweł Wilkowicz, sort of big Polish journalist, wrote an article where he explained that there was a chance that Polish fans could actually fight, or were planning to fight, in Romania before the match. And indeed, yesterday there were reports and pictures as well of some Polish fans causing trouble in the centre of Bucharest. Again, mostly between themselves. The game in general was quite atmospheric, maybe in a negative sense, in that there were a lot of flares had obviously got into the ground. Not sure exactly how they got in, just Polish fans lighting flares, but also Romanian fans lighting flares. Now, from my experience of following the Polish league, it seems like a very similar situation, that the security guards are not very good at stopping flares getting in, or they basically turn a blind eye when certain kinds of fans attempt to get the flares in, or they allow them to directly. Okay, so there was a lot of flares going off. Some flares at times landed onto the pitch, and obviously the biggest incident is when Lewandowski, when the firecracker flare sort of landed quite close to Lewandowski and exploded, and for a while he lost his hearing. So that's the big incident. But also there was also some violence between Polish and Romanian fans in the ground. There was a lot of Polish fans in there, around 3,000, but I think maybe more got into neutral sections or Romanian sections, and we don't really know what was going on there in terms of how it started, but definitely from both sides there was a lot of provocations and sort of some rather sort of aggressive chanting, and that happened more in the first half. But obviously the incident which will really be talked about is the Lewandowski incident. But obviously it's great that he was able to pick himself up and score the 2 goals, which meant that Poland got a 3-0 win. Obviously, if it had been a walkover, if the match had been stopped, Poland would have got a 3-0 win anyway. So it's quite interesting that they went and got that win without the need for a walkover. So I think it's good. I imagine that Romania will in general get some kind of punishment for what happened during the game, because so many different things were happening. Flares were being thrown, lit, a bit of fan violence, plus the firecracker. Definitely seems that UEFA will punish, should at least punish Romania for future qualifying matches. I'm not sure what's going to happen on that front, but I have to say, just to underline that there were some quite inappropriate, I think, reactions on Polish social media regarding what happened. A lot of sometimes some racial epithets regarding Romanians. I saw quite a number of those, unfortunately, online, and a lot of criticism of Romanians, which if Polish fans had done similar things, a lot of Polish fans would find ways to find excuses for what they did. And in this situation, you had a lot of, I think, sometimes crossing boundaries, really, regarding what Polish fans were saying about Romanians. Because, like in Poland, like in Romania, you got some idiots who do stupid things. It's not because they're from a certain nationality, although certain nationalities do commit more of those kind of stupid things. So I just wanted to explain and underline that I really don't. I think it was a bit inappropriate, some of them. But all of this shouldn't take away from what was a really great performance in general from Poland yesterday. The Polish national team, after some problems, seems to be was definitely moved back in a good direction to the way they were playing before in the Euros and in the Euro 2016 qualifiers. So in general, it looks like things are in a good place, and Poland can go into their spring qualifiers really confident that they are really the standout side in the group, and they should be able to, as I said, qualify. Even though the Euros are very exciting in general, although I wasn't a big fan of the recent Euros, the World Cup has just got a completely different feel to it. So, if Poland achieves something there, it really will really show what kind of level where Polish football is at the moment. So I'm hoping for some more good results in the spring. And it really is something to underline. It really is a great time to be a fan of the Polish national team. There really hasn't been this kind of optimism around the Polish national team for probably really 30 years. Obviously, they've qualified for a number of different tournaments since basically 2002. They were away from the big tournaments for 16 years, but since 2002 they've qualified for a number of tournaments but never done that well. Although obviously Euro 2016 accepted. Without that. Sorry. But I think that it really does look good, and lots of positive things happening at the moment. Anyway, this is the end of what I wanted to talk about. Hopefully the next time I do something like this, it'll be a little bit more organised, maybe a bit better edited. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and please tune in more in the future, or again in the future. Thanks.